And once again, we are met with one of the worst things to see, an ice type. So you could see this team is definitely not recommended. And we are left to deal with a very healthy Walrein. Not entirely sure how we're going to win this matchup. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP. And if you're a returning subscriber like Young Phenom JR, thank you for the support. In today's video, we are taking a look at some battles in the Open Ultra League, and you may be looking at this team and thinking, how the heck did you come up with a team like this? The answer is quite simple actually. I just put on my Oli Soulshire hat, picked my 3 favorite Pokemon, and bang! There it is, a team of spice. Now, all jokes aside, this is not the kind of team I would recommend anyone to use. The only Pokemon that's somewhat meta relevant here is Articuno. Virizion, and especially Landorus Therian form are going to be very spicy picks for the Open Ultra League. You can see the team rating right here on PvPoke. DCD and that beautiful A for consistently awful. How is this team going to perform? We're about to find out. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. It really helps the channel grow. And without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. Alright, so let's jump into these spicy battles. We got Articuno, Virizion, and Landorus-T. This team gets destroyed by ice types, which could be a problem in a meta dominated by Walrein. Lapras, Alolan Ninetales, and even Talonflame are also going to be big issues for this team. And speaking of a big issue, Chandelure in the lead is pretty rough to see. We are forced to swap out into the Landorus Therian form, and the opponent is going to bank a bunch of energy before swapping out into the one thing we don't want to see, an ice type. Walrein going to shield up the Stone Edge right here. We do get to a Superpower. This one isn't going to get the shield, but it deals heavy damage. We are fortunate enough to get the CMP tie. Icicle Spear takes us out. Best case scenario. But unfortunately, we don't have any answer for this on our team. So definitely not the kind of team you want to run in the Open Ultra League where Walrein is so prevalent. But it is what it is. We take that Icicle Spear. I don't want to show them that I do have Ancient Power, but at this point we don't really have a choice, so I am forced to throw that. This of course means that they're likely to shield the Chandelure, but realistically speaking, I don't think there was any other way to get rid of that Walrein. So Chandelure comes back in, we're going for the Ancient Power, hoping for the boost, which we don't get, and we swap out into Virizion. So a grass type coming into a fire type. You hate to see this. Opponent is going to throw all of their energy. We are going to double shield, and they swap out into a Beware. So this actually gives us some play right here, but it's still going to be very difficult. They actually go for a move right here. Seemed like it was a Drain Punch, so this isn't going to do a lot of damage. Drain Punch is a horrible move. We're going to build up to the Sacred Sword. I wanted to under tap here so I could get a bit more farm. Unfortunately, I went for a bit too much. Swapped out into Articuno to get a bit of an energy lead there by finishing off the Beware, but we're not able to reach the Ancient Power, and this Flame Charge is going to destroy us. Bang! There it is. Self Bang taking us out. Leaf Blade might have actually been enough to knock out Chandelure there. It would be very close. Does about 1/3 to the Chandelure, so if we could win CMP tie, maybe we had some play there, but nonetheless, we end up losing game number 1. Let's hop into number 2. Articuno into Gliscor, a beautiful lead, and once again, we are met with one of the worst things to see, an ice type. So you could see this team is definitely not recommended if I haven't made that obvious enough at this point. Opponent going to throw the Ice Beam. We're going to tank this and then swap out. I decided to throw the Icy Wind just to make this matchup right here a little bit more playable because we don't have a good answer obviously in the back. Now we do have moves hitting for super effective damage against the Lapras, but unfortunately Landorus is extremely glassy. We do force the shield, able to get off this second Superpower right here, and that is not enough to take out the Lapras, but they did let it go through, which is actually very good news. I come in with Virizion. The opponent's going to throw an Ice Beam. I'm definitely going to shield this up right here, and they swap out into Gliscor, and I think that could be the win con for us because now they are switch locked. Articuno comes in, going to be able to actually Ice Shard down here. Lapras is very low, so they're forced to come in with the Escavalier. Somehow we managed to get Articuno back on Gliscor after losing alignment because the opponent made a very questionable swap right there, and that could end up winning us this game. Icy Wind coming through, we get the final shield. Now, Virizion doesn't have a great matchup against the Scavalier, but remember, the attack has been lowered by 2 stages from those Icy Winds, so we actually tank that Mega Horn very well, going for the Sacred Sword right here. If the opponent's switch timer is up, I think their play is to reset the debuff, swap out, and then throw this Mega Horn later, but since they didn't swap out right there, I'm left to believe that their switch timer probably was not up yet, and that ends up leaving us in a position to close out this game with the Virizion, and we actually win a game against an ice type safe switch that we really had no answer for. So 1-1, let's hop into the next battle, and here is the bane of Articuno's existence, Melmetal swapping out into the Landorus Therian form, opponents staying in, which is very surprising, so I figured they have to shield this up, and they no shield. What an absolute madman. Going to go for the rock slide here. We decide to no shield right there. At this point, it looks like they're probably committed to staying in this matchup, so I am going to shield here, look to get to back-to-back superpowers, and then they can't really farm us down if they do double shield. And since so much time has passed, I'm actually going to swap out into the Virizion, assuming they're probably weak to this since they didn't swap out. So we've shown all 3 Pokemon. They come in with an Alolan Muck. If it's running Poison Jab, very bad matchup, but if it's running Snarl like this one is, it's actually a pretty decent matchup for the Virizion, especially with a shield in hand. So we're going to go straight Sacred Sword right here. Based on the flow of this match so far, it felt like the only lose con was to allow the Poison type move to go through, so that's a big shield right there, calling the Gunk Shot actually, not even the Sludge Wave. Sacred Sword takes out the Muck, and they come in with a Wall Rain. So they had an amazing answer to our entire team from the start, but for some reason, we've ended up in this scenario. We do catch the Icicle Spear onto the Articuno. That could be huge, preserving that Virizion for later. Melmetal comes back in. I actually prefer they take us out here because I want to get the farm on the Landorus or the Virizion. Since Virizion has a Leaf Blade stored, I decide to come in here with the Landorus. I want to commit to the Mud Shot down. If we could get to the Superpower here, we should be able to get off that combo play. Big Mac and the fries. 1-2, hit him with that Superpower. Swap out into the Leaf Blade and hit him with that bang. There it is. Wall Rain taken out, coming back from a Melmetal lead. Not entirely sure why the opponent stayed in with Melmetal, but it ended up working out in our favor. Let's hop into the next battle. Once again, a very challenging lead. This time a Shadow Wall Rain. We can't really swap out here, so what the heck are we going to do? Just go for the Ancient Power, pray for the boost. We don't get it. Opponent farming up a bunch of energy here and actually swaps out. So the win con has been found. Ancient Power landing on the Umbreon. That's okay. We come in with the Green Wall. Virizion loves to see Umbreon, especially if it's not running Psychic. Just going to farm up a bunch of energy right here. Go for the Sacred Sword. I definitely want to have a bunch of energy stored when we exit this matchup because the Wall Rain is probably at 100, if not very close to it. And CMP is actually IV dependent in the Virizion vs Wall Rain matchup, so that could end up being a factor right here. We are going to tank this last resort, commit to taking out this Umbreon using only Quick Attack, loaded on energy, but the bad news is that we lose CMP tie. Now losing CMP tie here is going to have an influence on this matchup, because since we're throwing second, that means we're going to have to use both shields if we want to get off both Leaf Blades. If we were winning CMP tie, we would have been able to land both Leaf Blades and then let the second Icicle Spear go through, preserving our shields. So an unfortunate turn of events right there. We do catch the Icicle Spear on the Articuno, which is very nice, and the opponent gives us a gift by swapping out into Trevenant. Of course, if the opponent stayed in with Wall Rain, we would have Landorus aligned onto Trevenant, which is an auto loss, but being able to land this Icy Wind puts us in a very favorable position, because even if they land a Shadow Ball right here, attack has been lowered, we will survive, and that's going to allow us to completely Mud Shot down. We're going to get to a Superpower right here, and the Wall Rain coming back in. This is gonna be enough. Bang! There it is. Wall Rain taken out. Another big win right there with the team that makes no sense. Let's hop into the next one. So we are 3-1 in this set, but a lot of those wins have been the result of being able to capitalize on a few mistakes the opponents have made. If I were to continue using this team, we would lose a lot more games than we win. That's a fact, so definitely don't look at this team and think it's good. It is not. Swampert into Articuno, nice lead, but the opponent catches the Icy Wind onto the Escavalier. We swap out into the Landorus, going to tank a move coming from the Escavalier. It is the Aerial Ace. We're going to overfarm. I'm actually going to go for Stone Edge here because I don't want to lower my attack or defense just yet with the Superpower. Stone Edge, still enough to take out the Escavalier. And let's see what the opponent has in the back. Again, it's another wall rain, so we just cannot avoid the core breakers on these teams. Thankfully, we are able to get off a Superpower, but maybe I should have built up to 2 because we're only able to get 1 there after lowering our defense. Very unfortunate. And we are left to deal with a very healthy wall rain. Not entirely sure how we're going to win this matchup. I'm using a shield right here. Need to at least get some chip damage off on this wall rain right here. Ancient Power comes through. We do not get the boost. I'm going to allow them to take us out. Virizion can beat the Swampert with 1 Leaf Blade, but the wall rain is going to be an issue. We're going to tank this first move. Now, I did learn that Leaf Blade is actually more energy efficient against the wall rain because it has a higher base power. So you definitely want to go for Leaf Blade against wall rain. Right here, I feel like it's going to be a very tight matchup. We need to prevent the sneak in, which we are able to do. And I think we actually need to sneak in a quick attack here in order to outpace, which we do. But can we win CMP tie? Last time we lost it. Under tap, able to click on the Leaf Blade. Is this enough? Bang! There it is. Wall rain taken out. Virizion avenging itself from the last one. And we end up going 4-1 in that set. However, it's not all dandelions and roses here with this team. Let's take a look at the very next battle of the following set and find out why I decided to give up on this team, realizing that we just got very lucky in that one set where we went 4-1. Articuno into Scrafty. This isn't the greatest lead, but it's definitely playable here for the Articuno. Usually what I'm going to want to do in a situation like this is throw 1 Icy Wind. They're likely to go for the foul play against the Articuno, so they're not going to be raising their attack. After they throw the foul play here, I will no shield and swap out into the Landorus. Now the opponent comes in with Jellicent, obviously another pretty rough matchup for this team, so going for the Stone Edge right here, we do force a shield, which is very nice, and you're about to see the most powerful Bubble Beam of all time. That right there just took a quarter of our HP. A Bubble Beam absolutely chunking away at the Landorus. We are going to be able to survive this next Bubble Beam and actually get off 1 more Stone Edge right here, which will do some decent chip damage. But from here, it's going to be pretty rough to take out this Jellicent, so going to swap out into Virizion. I think that's actually the misplay right there. I think getting Virizion switch locked right here is pretty bad, and as you can see, they bring in a Talonflame, so we are in big trouble right here. Going to go for the Sacred Sword. They are very likely just going to commit to the complete Incinerate down, and that is not good news for us because they'll be loaded on energy. We are able to reach 1 more Sacred Sword. I kind of hope they do shield this because we need them to go shields down at this point. They decide not to. Decision to make right here. I decide to come in with the Articuno. They do throw immediately. We pretty much have no choice but to shield everything from this point. And I need to have a bunch of energy stored for that Scrafty, which is still relatively healthy. So we are able to take them out with Ice Shards. And if they do come back in here with the Jellicent, we can't really commit to the Ice Shard down. So we need to catch the Shadow Ball right here, which we do. Huge. Now, Ice Shard down is possible, but they swap out into Scrafty. Going to throw this Icy Wind immediately. That gets the shield. Going to throw the second one, which isn't going to be enough to take it out. Now, we will survive a foul play, but we need to make a decision. Can we actually Ice Shard down before they're able to take us out with counters? I decided we were not able to do that, but the game clock also coming up, so there were probably a few ways we could have ended up winning this. If I threw a couple more Ice Shards, just 1 more, before throwing the icy win. Maybe we win by timeout, but instead I went for the glory. We end up losing in a very dramatic fashion right there. GG's to the opponents, and I called it quits after that. A 4-1 in the first set though was definitely good enough for me. If you enjoyed this team or just found these battles entertaining, please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. And if you'd like to see more content like this, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.